Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Thursday, January 18th, 2024. This is my pre-market report. Let's start off with this. Not only are we finding out that business investment here in the United States is at a historic low, and as I have covered with all of you for quite a while now, this is a massive, major leading indicator with regard to the economy. And you turn on Bloomberg and Fox Business and CNBC, and they float out the creature yelling to tell you that it's just not so, that everything by and our economy is rip-roaring strong. You can't make this stuff up. So not only do we have, by their own numbers here, business investment cratering, business activity. What did we just find out the other day? Contracting at its fastest pace also in history, and they're still selling us the lies and the propaganda and the distractions. Now, also this morning, this is the theme here. We covered at the end of last year what was going to happen, and here we are. We have more and more corporations laying off thousands of people, but that's because our economy is so strong. Oh yes, that's the way it would work in this kind of an environment. You can't again make this stuff up, and unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more of this moving forward. Now, speaking about that, you and I have covered, and I've been covering this day after day after day, the case that is building towards more war funding. As you probably know, our government is about to shut down because they can't fund it. But again, blank checks for Israel, blank checks for Ukraine, and now this clearly what is a build-up towards a widespread war involving Iran. So here's a headline for you from today, and you're going to just love this. Iran is frustrating nuclear regulators as it stockpiles uranium. What are they selling you here? The nuclear fear, as they did last time. In case you haven't noted, let's see, they've been telling us now for, years, that Iran is just weeks away from a nuclear weapon. They always keep this stuff on the back burner here. They are going to sell this to the people of the world on a grand scale as Iran is invaded. That's exactly what's going to end up happening here. Crude oil is going to the moon on the back of this here. Government spending, debts. You can only imagine where this is going to go. Anyway, the market is trying to price this in. I covered this yesterday. In my opinion, looking at what's happening here, and if you're watching Dow futures this morning, okay. We got Dow futures this morning that are slightly in the red. S&P futures higher. NASDAQ futures higher. That's not the real story, as you know. 10-year yield is coming down from yesterday. Doesn't mean we've hit a top here. There's a lot of fear in this market, and you witness this by watching the knee-jerk, which always happens, into the dollar with the Dixie firmly above 103. It's not going to last in my view. But the market's pricing in a wider war, a much wider war, widespread war, as a matter of fact. And once the market gets that together, realizing, okay, it takes a while for this market to turn around a little bit, that, again, debts and deficits are going to balloon, more easy money for the market. The market's going much higher here, much higher. Okay, that's the setup. Period. The freaking end. And the worse off the economy gets, and again, it just isn't stopping. The higher the market's going to go, and the more propaganda you're going to hear to the opposite. Oh, we're great, we're booming. I couldn't even believe Janet Yellen yesterday praising on her hands and knees the economic policy of President Bidenstein. No, it's not his economy. It's not his economic policy. Who runs the economy? Central banks. Who runs the market? Central banks. Who runs the financial system? It's central banks. You all know that. Anyway, you got cryptocurrencies today under pressure again. People, please, I woke up this morning yet again. I'm not going to talk about this anymore with regard to, Greg, what's happening with Bitcoin. People, you knew this. You knew it was going to happen. Okay, this is a sell the news thing. And not just that. Volatility. I explained to all of you, you're going to see a lot of volatility with... This space is not for everybody, I'm telling you right now. If you happen to be one of those that is panicking or you bought higher. Now maybe you bought towards the top here with FOMO. I still think you're in the right spot. You're going to get it back eventually, but you need to expect extreme volatility in the crypto space this year, especially with this new ETF. It's just that's just the way it's going to play out, and we covered it here. So I'm not answering any emails with regard to that. I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it. That's number one. Number two is I'm going to cover it here. So I would suggest listening to what I'm saying here. I'm not going to be right all the time, people, but I think we have this down, you and me, honestly. So anyway, so I wanted to cover what's going on today. More layoffs being announced by pretty much every major corporation. And we got a warning as well from JPM on the economy. They have to tell you the truth. These major Wall Street institutions have to float out little pieces of truth once in a while, so they can say, we told you, we told you, we told you. Look, there's no secret what's going on here. All right. We're in an economic meltdown right now. This is global. It's not just here in the United States. But, President Biden's economic policies, they're so fantastic that we're seeing thousands and thousands of people being laid off. We're seeing business investment fall through the floor. We're seeing business activity fall through the floor. We're getting warnings again and again about manufacturing, which you and I have been talking about here since I don't know how freaking long. Let me explain this to you, okay? Manufacturing here in the United States is dead. It's dead and buried. It's completely over. As a matter of fact, let me say this. Our economy here in the United States could not possibly be in worse shape. Meanwhile, what did we get yesterday? The Fed's beige book. Oh, yes, the consumer is so strong. They're so strong. This is why, again, they've burned through all their savings. You're seeing debt defaults across the board here, most of them we've ever seen. And that's how strong the consumer is. It's amazing. And again, why? How do they get away with this, people? Zero accountability, zero. And that, look, it pisses me off. I don't know another way to put this. No one is held to account anymore. This is why creatures like Yellen or whoever they want to float at can get away with anything they want to say. I've been telling all of you for I don't know how many years now that this is really an environment where it's every man and every woman for themselves. Although we got to band together. I always tell you, we're responsible for each other in my view. We got to love each other, care about each other, be charitable to each other, understand who the enemy is, look at what they're doing to us, at least what they're trying to do very successfully. People are getting destroyed here. You're going to see a lot worse things happening to people moving forward as they phase out this system. This system is systematically being phased out, and war is a big part of it. They're going to blame the war, the expanding war, on everything, and they're expanding the war. They are the ones. Central banks pull the strings. You understand? They fund it all. Where does all this funding come for the military strikes that we're carrying out with our United States is carrying out with our coalition partners? Where does all that funding come from? Do we have a war chest? No. It has to come right from the Federal Reserve. You understand? And these institutions, they always fund both sides. It's and the joke is on us. Honestly, we allow this to happen. No one stands up against it. But at least we're trying to raise awareness here with this particular blog, honestly. So anyway, nothing really major going on here this morning. Oh yes, another ship was attacked. This time it was an Indian ship that was struck by a Houthi missile, and Iran is stockpiling uranium because they want to build a nuke, which they've been working on they've been 2 weeks away from, I don't know, for like 10 freaking years. Again, they're setting this up. They're setting it all. They're setting you up, but you're too smart. Okay, you follow this blog. You are well aware of what's going on and what they're trying to pull off. But what does this mean for you and I? Again, at least from a financial standpoint, we are unwavering. We will stick to our exact plan that we've had for years, and we're not going to stop. We understand that debts and deficits are going to balloon higher than we've ever seen before. You need to take the opposite side of that trade, people. I can't stress that enough. Silver, my favorite asset of all time. Okay, you need to stockpile that stuff. Forget about what Iran is supposedly doing, stockpiling uranium because they want to build a nuke. Okay, it's you got to stockpile silver here, gold secondarily, platinum, palladium as well. All the stuff we talked about, gain exposure to commodities, staying long the market. I am still looking for opportunities to buy the dips in this market, people. I'm telling you right now. You do what you want. But I'm telling you what I'm doing. Think about what I'm saying. Look at what the setup is here. You think things are going to stop? No, they're not going to stop. And again, consider the fact that this remains a presidential selection year. The propaganda is going to get off the Richter scale. They're going to prop up this market to convince people that the imbecile sitting behind the Resolute desk is doing a great job because it's his economic policy. You know it is. Make it up, people. Make any of this stuff up. All right, look, this guy here loves you a lot. Sorry you get all upset about this stuff. Once in a while it gets to me, honestly. I will see all of you later for my live stream, 5 p.m. And we'll cover it all right? I'll see you then.